Hey everybody, I'm Mark Lambert here in the Sweet Swine of Mine Distributing Test Kitchen. Gonna show you guys a technique for cooking a steak on the Redbox smoker. Yes, cooking a steak on the Redbox smoker. It's not a steak cooker, but should this be the cooking device you have at your disposal and you need to cook steak, this is how you do it. Check it out. So, we've got our smoker going right now. I think I'm gonna count about 8 charcoal briquettes in there right now. And they're lit, and the idea is not to cook it in the Redbox to begin with, but to warm it up. We're gonna reverse sear in the Redbox. So we have our Maverick temperature gauge here, and we've got a probe going into the side of our ribeyes. Now this isn't how to cook the perfect steak, it's how to cook a steak in the Redbox. So what we did here is all we did was trim up these ribeyes, put a little bit of Texas beef on them, a little white lightning. No, I take that back. We used a couple of new items from Primetime this time. We used their bovine shine, and we used some of their all-purpose steak dust, if you will, and some Texas beef. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that we're going to reverse sear them and cook them in the Redbox. So we're going to put them straight in here on the top rack. We've got a little pan of butter going, and we're getting this cooker up into that 160 to 200 degree range. We're going to try to stay between 160 and 180. And the idea is that we're going to watch this thermometer. I'm going to move those in the back and move my butter up front. And we're going to watch the thermometer here. And when we get about 98, 95 degrees on this thermometer, we're going to pull them out and we're going to prepare our fire to sear these steaks just the way you'll see in the competition. This is a great way to cook them. I'm not going to say it's my favorite because it's a little more cumbersome. We typically cook on either like a PK or a Blaze or a Meadow Creek steak grill. It's just a little more simplified, if you will. But I've cooked in steak competitions, SCA with the Redbox, and placed in the top 3 about 4 times. So it works, and every time I've done it, I've placed. So we're going to show you exactly how to do it, how it works, and give you another way to utilize your Redbox to be able to grill and smoke. Okay, our steaks are at temperature. The first part of the reverse sear is done. They're right at 98 degrees internal. You can see they're starting to give off some liquid. They got some pretty color. We're going to take them over here and we're going to prepare the firebox to do the sear portion of it. We're going to move over to the test kitchen and show you how you finish it on the firebox with grill grates. Okay, we got our grill ready. So what you see here is the firebox out of the Redbox. We've added the kick ash basket. We've taken the charcoal insert out of the firebox and put the kick ash basket in there, and then we fill the kick ash basket just kind of somewhat level with charcoal briquettes. If I had to guess, it's 25, somewhere in that neighborhood, but it's just a nice even level basket of coals. And you can see it's flaming hot, that is. And our grates are sitting at 580 to 579, 569. They're pretty close. They're within 10 degrees all the way across. So we've got a little duck fat spray. We're going to hit it one time. Again, this isn't the full competition steak deal. I'm not a steak professional. I like to go compete with the professionals, but we're going to show you how to cook the steak on here. So these steaks came up to about 98 degrees. I still like to get good sear marks. I still eat with your eyes first. So we're going to go and we're going to cook these at the same time. So Weston's behind the camera. Weston, will you get me a little stopwatch? Okay. And we are going to start these. And we're going to go, now let's go about a minute. Right at a minute. And then all you want to do is make sure they're pressed evenly. You don't have to press down hard. Just make sure they all get contact with the grates. Now, if you notice that side we put down did not have as much seasoning as this side, is because we scraped that seasoning off so that you get grill marks on the meat instead of on your seasoning. Even though we had a light coat, we kind of scraped it off a little bit. So our first coat was Wilsonshire, and then I call it steak stain. Mark Seamers calls it bovine shine from Primetime Seasonings. And then we went with a little Sweet Swine of Mine Texas beef. That was our seasoning blend, and we let that sit in and sweat in while the steaks were coming up to temperature.
7 seconds. There you go, a minute.
There's a minute. So we're going to rotate. We're at 45 degrees. We're going to rotate this over here. We're going to rotate this one. We're going to go back in and just give it a nice little press down. Now, if you wonder how I can do this, I've got a little cotton glove on under and a nitrile glove on over there. So we did it essentially 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. That's what we're rotating. We're 45-degree angles pretty much to the grates. And now we're over at our more of our 2 o'clock range. We started over at 10 o'clock. And you can do squares. If you can go to 12 and 3 if you want to. Doesn't really matter. Just whether you want kind of diagonals on your steak or you want squares. And it all depends on what direction you turn it. Is kind of what you're dealing with. Whether they're oblong diagonals or whether they're squares and you turn them on the points. So I've got an old paper towel here. I'm going to clean my grate. And I'll be coming up to temperature pretty quick. Main thing on this first side, we're careful with our grill marks. Get my trash into place. How far are we in there, man? Huh?
1 minute.
All right, we're at a minute on this side, so that's a minute each way, about 575. And we got nice looking grill marks. Now they're a little light, I would say. Just a hair light. They're not real complete. So if I was doing this again, I probably want to go like a minute 15. But they look pretty darn good still. So I'm going to flip them over. This side is my seasoning side. I'm going to go a minute on this side. And what I'd like to do at this point is go ahead and check what my temperature is. And I'm still only sitting at 102 degrees. This one shows us 111. Yeah. They'll come up quite a bit. I'm not cooking an SCA steak here, so I'm going to cook this steak medium rare. Normally I would take it off, you know, somewhere in the neighborhood of around 134 degrees and then let it rise on up to maybe closer to 140 on a chuck steak, and on one of our spinella steaks we'd probably a couple of degrees even below that. So we'd probably pull it at 133 and let it come up about 4 degrees to 137 or so. So we're going for more of a medium rare here. We're at 1 minute. I'm going to turn this. We're right now at 2 o'clock. Rotate to 10 o'clock. Give them a nice press down so that my grill marks are pretty even. And if you've got a bacon press, feel free to sit that on top of there. If you don't have one of those, just find you a brick, wrap it in aluminum foil. You can sit it on there. It works great. It's about the right weight. It's about the right size. But again, this is about technique and how to cook your steak on the rib box. This glove, I'm telling you, works wonders. We sell these by the dozen at Sweet Swan of Mine Distributing. We sell these black gloves. But again, you can take a jersey glove from the dollar store and you can get these at any AutoZone and it works, just whatever's close to you. Thermometer, handheld thermometer. This is a Maverick PT100. Any quick read handheld instant read thermometer works just fine. This one just happens to be the one that I like. It's got a huge display. It's backlit. They seem to last a long time. What's our time over the West Home?
Almost 30 minutes.
I think we can pull these dudes off. Let's see what the other side looks like. Oh yeah. It bowed a little bit, so we didn't get as even of a mark on that one. And it's okay over here too. Really, if you have a press, is the way to do it to get good even marks. You want to press on there so that you get even marks all the way across. But again, this is cooking at home. And this is how we're doing it. We're going to let these rest for just a minute. We're going to put a little butter on them and we're going to cut them and we're going to have lunch. Check it out. All right, so we had a couple of pins in there in this one because it was kind of a floppy steak. It just kind of stabilizes it, makes it easier to work with. We got some string. We put the string around it. Yeah, the dog wants to eat too. You got our string around it, and that's really just to straighten the steak up. It bunches it up so that it makes it a more even thickness all the way across. That's the main reason for it. It just really helps for even cooking is the main thing. So we're going to cut this up. I'm going to cut it once down the middle because we're going to portion it. Normally we cut it the other way, but it's more of a medium than a medium rare, but that's okay. I didn't temp it real hard. We could have pulled it a little sooner. That one looks good. We've had a few people ask us how to do this. That's why we're showing you how to cook a steak on the Red Box. We're just plating this up. We got some friends here for lunch. And we're going to get this all nice and ready. Yeah, there. We'll just sit that in there. And there is Red Box steak, mashed potatoes, green beans, lunch in Bahia. So now, if you have a Red Box, and that's what you're taking with you on vacation, you know how to cook a steak on a Red Box. And let me tell you, either at home or on the competition trail at SCA, it's a winner.